Hello everyone and welcome to Creatures of the Realm. I'm Henry Knight, the DM and storyteller for Dungeons & Dragons, and the game that we are currently playing is Vampire: The Dark Ages. First generation and first edition book. So this is a great game that we're playing, and hopefully everyone is having a good time watching it, because the guys are having a good time, and so am I, obviously. So, with that being said, before we start, how's everyone doing? I'm doing fine. A little tired. I worked long hours today. I came home and was like, "Yay, I'm streaming!" Streaming always really gives me a boost, and I hope that it gives you a boost as well. This channel, it's all about love, all about the people, and whether it's Dungeons & Dragons, Vampire the Masquerade, no matter what it is, we talk about things and we go from one game to another and we have a great time. Tonight, we have two awesome creatures. And I know every weekend, or every other weekend, I'm like, oh, we have an awesome creature we want to talk about. Look, this season, we'll do something a little different. We'll take the creature, and it's inspired with darkness. So I'm not going to do lawful good creatures or anything like that. It's going to be chaotic evil. It's going to be dark, because we're doing Vampire the Masquerade, and I like to keep that type of trend. Now, before I get into the Skull Lord and the Slithering Tracker, full names, we are going to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow, our campaign 3, Vampire the Masquerade, or Vampire the Dark Ages. Join us at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to have a great time. Great story, so hopefully watch the word out. The more you do that, the more I love you. Either way, we'll have a good time and enjoy ourselves gaming-wise. So, tonight, the Skull Lord. What is a Skull Lord? Skull Lord is from the region of Shadowfell, and that's their domain. In history, per se, or fictitious history, the Litch, Vecna, and the vampire Kaz battled. Kaz betrayed Vecna and took his eye in hand. And Vecna took his generals, and with rage, "What's up, Joe?" And with rage, he created or smashed, made these abominations called the Skull Lords. You see a skeleton with 3 different heads, cool armor, and a chest plate with a skull, and a staff or a sword. Very cool creature. But they were plunged into darkness. They're in Shadowfell, however you want to call it, unearth, however you want to go play with it. That creature is in darkness somewhere. So, what makes a Skull Lord different than any other regular skeleton? Well, you see your skeletons from Clash of the Titans, the movie. They have the sword and the shield, and they go, and they clank, 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 and they hit, they strike, and that's pretty much it, right? This one's different. Like I said, the battle between Kaz and Vecna. Huge battle. Vecna loses his eye and his hand. Pissed off because Kaz betrayed him, his general. He took his underlings, or superiors, and meshed them together, created abominations, and they were called the Skull Lords. But what makes them different? Let's take a look. For one, they're medium undead. They're lawful evil. And D&D talk, you have your AC, which is 18, which is plate armor. Not very cool for a skeleton, huh? Hit points of 112. And you're looking at a challenge rate of 15, XP of 13,000. Folks, you gotta remember, when this challenge rating is so high, you're gonna know that this is not your normal creature. Especially if you're playing with levels 1 through 5 and so forth. So if you're going to use this type of creature, use them wisely. Maybe scare the party a bit, enter a castle, wrong place at the wrong time, and they see this Skull Lord protecting something. Maybe they're there for hunting some form of treasure. So whatever it is, you're going to use a Skull Lord, use them wisely because, as I said, the Skull Lord has a whole bunch of resistance. He is a challenge rate of 15. And on top of that, he's got magic. Drink my Dr. Pepper. So, at will, he uses Mage Hand and Message. And Mage Hand may not be a big spell, but if you want to look at other things he has, the Skull Lord has Dimension Door, Fear, Cloud Kill, Cone of Cold. Very cool spells. He can use Dimension Door and Fear twice a day. And then Cloud Kill and Cone of Cold once a day each. And this guy has legendary actions. You know how that works. So either way, you're gonna get huge battle. And if you're using lower level characters, and if you're gonna throw this guy to scare them, they will be scared. This guy is a force to be reckoned with. He is not no normal skeleton. He is, like I said, created by Vecna himself. So, with that being said, what else does a Skull Lord have that makes him dangerous? Let's take a look. Okay, so his attack. He has a bone staff and a deathly ray attack. Wow, that sounds nasty. So, let's take a look at the deathly ray attack. It's a ranged spell, a +10 to hit. And folks, I don't know about you, but if you roll 20-sided, like I'm about to right now, I got a 13. And right there, you add 10 to it, you are going to hit. You are going to hit. A range of 60 feet, 5d8 plus 5 necrotic damage. Nasty. Of course, I mentioned spell casting. And he's multi-attack, you know. He makes 3 bone staffs attack or a deathly ray attack. 3. So right there, you're in for some shit. Joe, thanks for watching, man. I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Yeah, Joe's one of our players. He's our came in from our D&D game and joined the Vampire game season 3. So he's a good addition. Nice to have him. He's he knows the lore. He knows a lot about vampires and so forth, and kind of helping other members, players to really know the game, and it's a great dynamic. Either way, let's talk about the Skull Lord. Let's get back into it. Nasty character, nasty creature. I don't know about you, but I'll be afraid of him. You know, walking through a castle, and all of a sudden you see this nasty skeleton with 3 heads, and you're thinking, "Oh, I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. I can take him out. I've got this cool staff or this cool sword and this shield. I can take him out pretty much." Well, no, it doesn't work that way. It's just a matter of time where this creature kills you. And I'm being 100% real on that. he's got an ability called Master of the Grave. Well, within 30 feet of the Skull Lord, any undead ally of the Skull Lord makes saving throws with advantage, and the ally regains 1d6 hit points whether it starts its turn there. Unusual nature. The Skull Lord doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. Of course, like all skeletons. They don't eat, they don't do any of that. So, what makes them nasty? I mentioned the death ray. I mentioned the bone staff. The bone staff is a +8 to hit. Not as nasty, but it's still a +8. But it does 1d8 +3, and then on top of that, bludgeoning damage +21. That's 66. The damage. What does that do? It'll knock your character down on its feet if the DM gets a high roll, and it will make for a very aggressive battle. Legendary actions. Let's take a look here. The Skull Lord has 3 legendary actions, like normal. You know how that works. Let's say you have a party of 5. So player 1 does his turn in initiative. Before player 2, a legendary action you could interact between players. So after player 1, legendary action, and then player 2 goes. But you can only use 1 legendary action in that cycle. The next one you can go ahead and do it. Good. A Skull Lord can take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options below. Only 1 legendary action option can be used at a time, and only at the end of another creature's turn. Like I just said, player 1 goes, player's done, and you use your legendary action. And the Skull Lord regains spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. So you get your attack, which is 1 legendary action, and you can use a bone staff or a death ray. Move, the Skull Lord moves up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks, which is great, because normally in battle you're going to move around, and as a DM you got to worry about everything, and that's pretty much, it happens. Oh shit! Aha! Opportunity of attack. So, summon undead. It costs 2 actions, but you can summon undead. Zombies, of course, I look at the monster manual, skeletons, stuff like that. In unoccupied spaces, within 30 feet, you can summon. Now, what makes this hombre harsh? Like I just said, this guy, imagine having a huge battle with him, and you have a party of level 5s. Horrible. And at level 5, you have a pretty decent power base. So if you're a fighter, you're going to have extra actions, stuff like that. If you're a ranger, you're going to have what you need, get it done. If you're a cleric, same thing. So you're going to have a mix of magic and power. And then you're going to go up against this guy. Only problem with undead is if you have a paladin or a cleric that their prime ability is to, of course, mess with undead, put in its place. That's the only weakness of this character. But let's take a look at the Skull Lord. My allergies are pretty bad, so I apologize for that. The Skull Lord's immunities: poison, condition immunities, blinded, charmed, can't be deafened, exhaustion, frightened, poisoned, stunned, unconscious. Any of that. Damage resistance: cold, necrotic, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, non-magical attacks. What does that do? That's half damage. That's what it does. And at 112 hit points, that's pretty good. That's really good. Now remember, Dimension Door can do two a day each. 2 a day each. So what Dimension Door is, you teleport with a distance such as 200 feet straight downward, upward, whatever, 45-degree angle, 300 feet, whatever. You can Dimension Door pretty much anywhere. Range of 500 feet. It's components verbal. So he's going to be like, blah, 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 whatever the hell you want to make him do, he's going to go ahead and Dimension Door up. You can bring along objects as long as it doesn't exceed what you carry. So, and the staff and his Deathly Ray, you can go ahead and bring that with him. And which makes it cool is, you are gone. So, if you would arrive in a place already occupied by an object or a creature, you and any creature traveling with you each take 46 force damage, and the spell fails to teleport you. So, if there is an object or a creature, you're going to take 4d6 damage. Now, I don't know about you, but that's kind of dumb. If you're the one doing the spell, and you're a proficient spellcaster, I understand there's room for mistakes. Maybe once in a great while. Okay, look. People make mistakes, they get hurt. You understand that. So the spellcaster makes a mistake and lands between a tree or in a tree of some kind. And all of a sudden, the spellcaster makes that mistake using Dimension Door. They take the 4d6 damage. I say, make a wisdom roll. See, before they do, I know it's instantaneous, before they do Dimension Door, to see if they're stuck on stoop. And that's clearly that's a roll. To see if you are gonna make the mistake. Because if you don't roll, how do you know you're gonna make the mistake? It just happens. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Dimension Door. Alright, so the creature must be within 5 feet of you when you cast a spell. If you would arrive in a place already occupied by an object or a creature, you and any creature traveling with you each take 4d6 force damage and the spell fails to teleport. That means you would fail your spell. I don't know. Either way, it sounds cool. You could Dimension Door anywhere in the map, and it's very cool. Or Dimension Door completely out of the location, get them out of there. If the creature is not strong enough to do it. So what makes this creature different from, like I said before, the skeletons? He can summon skeletons. He can summon. He can summon, use spells. You can see the staffs. He has this Deathly Ray. And yeah, the Deathly Ray is a ranged spell attack, a +10 to hit. Again, very, very good. So, not only are you going to get 13,000 XP, he has a proficiency bonus of +5, which you would need a 1 in every roll that he gets because he has that proficiency 5. And not only that, when you have a +10 or a +8 to hit, it's pretty powerful. Now, that picture, I love that pic of the Skull Lord. And those pictures, when I put out those pictures, I love them. I love them to death, man. So hopefully it's a good depiction of the Skull Lord, because that's the way I see it. And the one in the manual, in the DM's monster manual, is cool. The guy's got like a patch. He's got like this helmet that comes over his head. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's different, isn't it? All right, so you have this Skull Lord in position in the castle. And we have a group of adventurers, level 5, battling the Skull Lord. What do? Does the Skull Lord summon skeletons? Hell yeah. You just don't want him. You don't want your players to one-shot your guy. So what you want to do is the Skull Lord can summon undead and have other undead out there, and then in the initiative cycle, have the Skull Lord in that initiative cycle. And then do your legendary actions and your spells and so forth. Now, I would not blow Dimension Door or anything like that. Fear, for example, to project a phantasmal image of a creature's worst fears. You gotta do a wisdom save. And normally, let's take a look. Yes. So, at his level, the wisdom save would be pretty high. Again, depending on what. Let's take a look. Yeah, a wisdom save. And while frightened by this spell, a creature must take a dash action and move away and go to the safest area. You make a wisdom saving throw. Fail it, you're afraid. You do that dash action. Or you're frightened. If you don't, on a successful save, the spell ends with that creature. There you go. Cone of Cold. Yes. I wouldn't blow Dimension Door for your Cone of Cold yet. Cloud Kill, I would blow that one. So what I would do is when the players move in the castle, and here comes this Cloud Kill. And let's take a look at what it does. You create a 20-foot radius sphere of poisonous yellow-green fog, centered on one point. So they go in there, and it's automatically 5d8 poison damage. At that point, on a failed save, it's half damage. I'm sorry, on a failed save, it's full, and half if you succeed. But either way, it's still damage. At that point, send in his skeletons or whatever he has and go boom. So now you have some form of strategy. So players walk in, they make a perception roll. Oh shit, this weird cloud. So they move forward. They go through the cloud, and then one of them gets hit. There's skeletons in there, so not only do you take damage from Cloud Kill, they're going to take damage from the skeletons, and then in the backdrop you have the Skull Lord. And make him use some of his spells, not all of them. Use Cloud Kill first, and then do his Deathly Ray, and so forth. And have a good time doing it. I love characters like that. They're dynamic. strong. It really puts a lot of strategy on the board, especially when they have different spells and different things they can use. That's a great character to have. Anyways, from the cool Skull Lord, we have one more creature, and that's the Slithering Tracker. What is a Slithering Tracker? Here, let me put him up. Let me put his pic up, because the Slithering Tracker, folks, this picture is cool. And if you see this, there you go. Slithering Tracker. Looks cool. So I originally wanted this, it's not a snake, but this ooze that comes out of your chest, like alien, coming out of your chest. And you know, you have the teeth and this thing comes out of your chest and it's bent on revenge. Revenge is the key. So this thing comes out of your chest, and the Slithering Tracker is a quest for revenge. So anything you have, it's a ritual that transforms into bodies of sentient, slithering ooze. That's called the Slithering Trackers. Yeah, it's cool. So someone with a high spell knowledge, creates this thing like liches, hags, priests, all that stuff. You know, the bad guys. So they do these things, and what does it do? What makes the Slithering Tracker so advantageous to the game? For one, revenge. So of course, let's say you have someone in the party that is a paladin, right? Paladin. I love playing paladins. And paladins are Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, depending on if you're female or male. So the paladin is a good guy going down, going through, let's use a castle. They're going through a castle, and party of 5, and the paladin in the back of his mind, his town was burnt down. You know, a warring another town came in. You know, horses, they had swords, and then they burnt down. They killed everybody in this town. So the paladin's family was killed, but they went into the castle with the party. You know, he changed, met adventurers, and they traveled together. But what makes a Slithering Tracker so good is this. If you have a hag or a witch that has an eye on you, and she knows that revenge is your thing, that's going to fester. She will induce this ritual. This ritual will attach to you. It doesn't matter if you're a paladin, a ranger, a cleric. It'll happen. Granted, you got to make the certain rolls, yes. Yes, you got to do all that. But let's say that you don't, and nothing happens. Move on. Let that paladin fester on his pain of his past. Then enter the Slithering Tracker. Man, guys, I'm telling you right now, creatures like this, what makes these creatures so advantageous is the fact that they have history. Anytime you have some form of lore attached to them, not just boring, oh my gosh, they're fighting this skeleton, and stupid. No, put a little bit of lore behind it. Once you have the lore behind it, that history behind it, it really will intensify the game. Trust me, it will. So, the Slithering Tracker is bent on revenge. So now it's attached to a paladin. What does it do? Let's take a look at the stats for the Slithering Tracker. It's a medium ooze. Chaotic evil, folks. Armor class of 14, 39 hit points. What does that mean in D&D talk? Well, that's challenge rate of 3, 700 XP. Proficiency, bonus of +2. And that's it for my nerd talk. So, what is the Slithering Tracker? What makes him so dangerous? There's a larger one and a smaller one. And they can see within 5 feet. Wait, one large or smaller creature. Oh, I'm sorry. One large or smaller creature that is Slithering Tracker can see within 5 feet of it succeed a DC 13 Dexterity saving throw for the grapple. Right. So this life leech, and to escape is 13. When the grapple ends, the target is restrained, unable to breathe. It's like you're underwater. So, which is pretty bad. Can you imagine? I held my breath underwater. I used to be a swim instructor, so holding your breath underwater, I love to swim. But holding your breath underwater, and then let's say that somebody's holding down your head. You know? That panic, that moment of I can't breathe. This is what this is talking about. You're able to breathe because you're restrained. It's like being underwater. In addition, the grappled target takes 16 3d10 necrotic damage. That is freaking nasty. While grappling the target, Slithering Tracker takes only half any damage dealt to it, rounded down, and the target takes the other half. All right. Enough of the nerd talk. One of the biggest things that I dislike about D&D is when they go into, oh, it takes this much damage and blah, blah, blah. Okay, guys, how much damage does it take? Just do that. Why does it have to be rounded down and blah, blah, blah? No, just take the damage and that's it. All right, so the Slithering Tracker is on you, and the Paladin, let's say, revenge is festering, ritual occurs, and this thing, the Slithering Tracker, is attached to the Paladin. He failed his grappling. He's restrained. So now what happens is he takes 3d10 necrotic damage. So this thing has a false appearance, a liquid form, and a spider climb. Alright. But that's cool. A spider climb, slithers. Can you say The Thing much? John Carpenter's The Thing. Come on, folks. Can you get a little bit better? I mean, come on. So this thing has a face. Mine looks. That picture looks like a snake, but the one in the Monster Manual is better in my picture, but it was very difficult for me to describe. For some reason, I couldn't think of this thing ooze. I tried to, but either way, it came out the way it did. It's still a cool picture, but not as cool as the one in the Monster Manual. So this thing slides, slithers, and spider climb and stuff like that. Makes it freaking deadly. So it understands languages as intelligence. And condition immunities: blinded, deafened, exhaustion, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, prone, resistant, restrained, unconscious. And damage resistance: bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. Half damage. Damn it, it's vulnerable to cold and fire. That's cool. Or, I'm sorry, vulnerabilities, cold and fire can hurt it. Sorry. So, let's take a look here. False appearance. If the Slithering Tracker is motionless, At the start of combat, it has an advantage on initiative rolls. Moreover, if a creature hasn't observed the Slithering Tracker move or act, the creature must succeed on a DC 18 intelligent investigation check to discern that the Slithering Tracker is in a puddle. That's cool. Wow. And of course, the spider climb, you can climb all over. +5 to hit. You know, you could have this creature anywhere in your game. You could have this one in a castle, in a forest, in a town. Oh, don't worry. The hag is watching you, and then she begins her ritual. And that attachment is to that paladin because it's like when you walk into a room and somebody drains himself with cologne, just splash it all over their body, and the smell is atrocious. Even though cologne smells good in little droplets, but not when they splash it all over their body. I'm saying so much where it's not even good anymore. It burns the hairs in your nose. Imagine that. Revenge. The smell of revenge. Even though that person's a paladin, a lawful good character, the smell of revenge is in her heart. And the hag, the lich, whatever NPC you want to do, realizes that. And she makes her move. The lich or the hag creates this slithering, I said I was tired, excuse me, slithering tracker. So the paladin has a problem. Because achieving revenge isn't against its target doesn't end a slithering tracker's existence or its hunger for blood. Some slithering trackers remain aware of their purpose and extend their quest for vengeance to others, such as anyone who supported or befriended the original target. Most of the time, though, the tracker's mind can't cope with being trapped in liquid form, unable to communicate, and driven by the desire for blood. After fulfilling its duty, the overwhelmed creature attacks indiscriminately until it is destroyed. Pretty freaking nasty. Now, imagine having these two creatures. You beat the Skull Lord. You guys are strong. Yeah, strong like bull. And you move in that castle. You have the group, you move to the castle, go across the bridge, you kill the Skull Lord, you're all happy-go-lucky, and you move on, and all of a sudden you see this puddle. Oh, just a puddle. Then you realize that the hag has got you, paladin. The Slithering Tracker is there because you have revenge. It's like wearing that cologne. It smells so much. Everybody can smell it. And so can the Slithering Tracker. It smells revenge on you. So it is attracted to you and it will kill you. Now, using that creature is cool. You can use it in any way, shape, or form. You don't have to use it in the way I said it. I like the more story-oriented part of it. The evil hag. She has a way with people. I know what to do. So the hag can really, I love hags. I really do. So they can really bring a lot of life to your game. And if you have a hag, keep an eye on the players or the characters that walk in my shop. You want to buy some potion? I'll give you one. So yeah, they will have a potion or whatever. They give it to the paladin. The paladin says thank you. And him being a nice guy doesn't realize that the hag has evil intent. He has evil intent. Here, I have a cool picture of a hag. This is cool. Where is she? Where is she? Where's my hag? Here she is. Here's my favorite one. Here it is. Here she is. Ooh. Yeah, here she is. The green hag. The green hag is cool. I love the green hag. Can you imagine? Going to a town and she's like, yeah, don't worry. Everything's cool. I'm the good person. You know, everybody's like, oh, she's a hag. That's one thing about Dungeons & Dragons. People have played it so many times and they see a hag, they're like, evil. Try to spin it a different way. Try to spin the game a different way. Or maybe the hag had an event that caused her to be evil. But she's trying to be good. That's why she has a shop, trying to change, trying to do things good for a change. But then she gives a potion or this ritual, this revenge ritual to a paladin. There's no such thing as a ritual like that. Well, there will be because you're the DM, right? You're the DM, you tell the stories, and that's what it's about, right? Telling stories, creating a story, creating something from nothing. And each of these wonderful creatures and characters that come out of the someone's imagination or coming out of the monster manual we use 99% of the time or most of the time can really be helpful in your games. But also too, spin it a little bit. They don't have to be exactly like the template says. Yeah, this Slithering Tracker, really, really cool. Now, would I use it like the cube? The Galactus cube? Very cool. So, I used the cube in the first season, and that cube was in the arena, and it went through it by accident. So yeah, you can use different things, any of these creatures from the monster manual, and use them accordingly. Now, does it have to be 100% perfect? No, it doesn't. You can change it up however you want. And the more creative you get with it, the better. So yeah, you're going to have all these creatures from the books, but change them up a little bit. Because the players are going to be like, oh yeah, Dragon has so many hit points and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, min-max or do whatever, it doesn't really matter. Change it up. That's why you can buy other books. A book called Three Mortals, which is 5e compliant. It's in the D&D Beyond as well. And there is a ton of creatures that you can use. So you have your villain actions, which is deadly. Yeah, they work just like the legendary actions, are similar, but they're very, very deadly and they're awesome to use. So you always want to change it up. If you're going to use a Slithering Tracker, for example, change it up a bit. Make the hag have this ritual, and this ritual is like a big note, snips out revenge, and the paladin walks into a shop. Just happens to be close to the hag's hut, or home, table, however you want to call it, and she realizes that paladin is the key. So somehow, throw in that connection, have the paladin come by, have this woman in distress in the alley. She's being attacked by this guy with a sword. Well, the guy in the sword happened to be one of the hag's personal henchmen. The woman on the ground was actually the hag portraying the trick. So the paladin defeats the henchman, puts his hand out, the woman grabs it. It's a beautiful woman. She says, thank you, do the role play, get connection, get all that emotion, and then have her embrace him and give him something. As soon as that happens, the ritual is set. It's passed on from the hag to paladin. That's how you do it. But does it work that way all the time? Absolutely not. Players will do what they want. And that's so cool. That's awesome about role-playing is the freedom to go and adventure, look around, role-play, interact with NPCs, fight with the creatures, save the damsel in distress like the paladin did, and so forth. There's so many ways to do things to make it enjoyable. Now, will you use these creatures in one of your first campaigns? Maybe, maybe not. It all depends on you. What do I mean by that? Every DM is different. There's some DMs who will use the creatures by the stats. They won't change anything. They won't change the lore. They'll just use it. A dragon will always be a dragon. The Slithering Tracker will always be a Slithering Tracker. And the Skull Lord will always be Vecna's bitch. And that's it. So, there's people like that. Now, in my games, I like to change things around. Don't make them so obvious. Can't they be obvious sometimes? Yeah, of course. Nobody's perfect, but it's fun to do those things. And as a DM, as a storyteller, if you change things up, make it interesting for the party, people are going to come back and enjoy the game. They're going to have fun. And especially you, too. You are going to have fun creating something different, and then having the party enjoy the very game that you're creating and the creatures that you're throwing in it. Oh man, it's a cool dragon. It's different. It's not just this blue dragon. That's why I always have dragons change into humans. I think dragons are curious by nature, and curiosity kills the cat, and satisfaction brought it back. So, yes, know that saying. So dragons, to me, always use that. Curiosity kills the cat, satisfaction brought it back. Because the dragon is curious by nature, the dragon will always go out there and do things out of the box. And same thing when you use creatures like the Slithering Tracker or the Skull Lord, think out of the box. You know that this bad boy was created by Vecna. So make him be feared. Make the players be afraid of him. Oh, bring fear onto the table. So you have those things that are really bring out the entertainment, the horror. It'll have a good setting, the scene, everything is set. And the only thing you have left is the role playing. The role playing is by far the most important aspect of the whole game. You could have strategy, combat, have minis. Things will be great. But if the role playing doesn't mesh, the game is going to take a dive. And when you have a Skull Lord that has that lore, Vecna and Kaz, all that is going to be crumbled to pieces if there's no role playing, there's no connection, stuff like that. So How did the players know of the whole Vecna thing? Let me look at my levels. I got a notice. Okay, good. They found the scroll. One of the players opened the scroll, and it had information. It was written by a bard. The bards tell stories. And the bard told the story of the Vecna Ka story. It was written in the scroll by order, what happened to Vecna, and so forth. And then it ended. There was blood at the end of the scroll, written in the scroll because the bard died trying to tell the story between Vecna and Kaz, that how Vecna changed his legions, made abominations, and so forth. So if you have those things, it will really bring a great dynamic to your games. It really will. I stand by it. Are those creatures good to use? Just using it plainly from the monster manual? Yeah, of course. But it's not going to be the same. Because we're all curious. And we know that you have a party of 5 in the castle, and you see this 3-headed skeleton. One of the players is like, hey, it's kind of cool, but back of their head, they're like, oh, that's a Skull Lord. Skull Lord has magic. What do I have in my list? Combat deck. You're kind of using things. It's like a video game. Oh, I already know what I'm fighting, so I have the green crystal, because the green crystal is going to take out the magic, and the red crystal is going to be all attack, and the yellow crystal is going to all defend. So that's what I mean. So instead, change your stats a bit, not much. Maybe you swap the spells. That makes sense. Stuff like that. Make them different. Oh, wait a second. Does it have the cloud kill? What the hell? What's he using? Man, he's higher level. Murder, death, kill? What? So, what's he using? So, those are the things you have to realize. That players will always be ahead of you. And you can say, yeah, I'm 10 steps ahead. I'm playing 3D chess. I'm doing these things ahead of my opponent. Or not. Don't think of your players as an opponent. That's wrong. Think of your players as a storyteller, you're the DM. But don't see it as 3D chess. But when you're doing strategy on board, and they're doing strategy, and they're thinking, they're saying, oh, well, this Skull Lord has this, and that. Change the character up. That's all I'm saying. Make them definitively different. The same, but different. Just a little bit. To create suspense, to create something fresh and new onto the table. That's what I like. Anyways, that's all I have for you this evening. I will see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. Like, subscribe, get the word out, please. Thank you. Let us know what you think about Playerole in the chat. And, on YouTube, I have a chat section as well. Go ahead and post there, our community section. Let me know what you think, and so forth, the streams and so forth. If you want something to change or whatever, throw it down there. We'll talk. To see you guys later, and have a great evening.